Welcome back to the Growing Your Business podcast. I am Jacki, a crochet business owner.
And I'm Rebecca, an artisan jeweler.
And in today's episode, we're getting more into the practical tips and pointing you guys in the direction of some resources, some platforms that you might be interested in using for your own business needs.
In the last episode, we went over a little bit on content creation and platforms you can use. We talked about Later. We talked about MetaSuite.
Storito. Yeah.
What is it?
Storito.
Storito.
Yes.
How do you spell that?
Storito?
Something along those lines.
It might be 2 R's, I won't lie. But it's a platform you can use for scheduling stories and reels on Instagram specifically. They might also go to YouTube, or not to YouTube, to Facebook too.
If your Facebook and Instagram are connected, then anything you put in stories on one or the other will automatically go to both. You don't have to do anything beyond.
Well, I know mine are connected, but every time I post on Facebook, I have to toggle it over to go to my Instagram. So that might not be
for your regular post, but your stories should automatically go through.
I don't know, because I got them connected, but I don't ever post on
stories to test
Facebook stories. I know I post on Instagram stories, but have you ever seen me in stories on regular Facebook?
No, maybe that's because you don't have 2 business pages.
That is probably true. Yeah, I have a personal Facebook and an Instagram for my business that I also share a lot of personal stuff on too. But yeah, I tend to focus on Facebook just for personal, pretty much.
Yeah, and I focus on Instagram as far as business. I have a business Facebook page as well because I find the platforms both work for me very well and have very different purposes.
Yeah, see, and I'm different. I've only found success with Instagram for business. I've tried to do various Facebook business pages, and it's just not been successful for me.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's true for a lot of people, but then the people who say it works for them, it really works for them. So I just don't know.
Well, because your market could exist anywhere. Platforms that you could see your market at are Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. There's apps like the Whatnot app. There's a wide range where your target market could be at.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
And they're not all going to be on all of them too. I am, but that's just, me being on all of them. It's a lot.
I am specifically, I tried initially starting out to be on all the things because you'll get a lot of those really just repeating what they've read. YouTubers who tell you get on all the things when that's not super realistic, especially if you don't.
I don't recommend it.
Get social media because I really didn't get it. I do my Facebook posts for personal, but there's a big jump between posting for personal and posting for business. So I would pick 1 if you're feeling ambitious, 2, and if you think you can conquer the world, pick 3. But there is no reason you need to be on all of them unless you can outsource. And if you find that 2 is too many, really go down to 1 because there's no reason to stress yourself out about it.
In my business talks, I highly, highly recommend that people do not get on all of them. And a lot of people have come to me and been like, well, I was told to be on all of them because my market could be anywhere. It's your market can be anywhere, but your market is not everywhere. There's no reason to be on all of them.
Well, here's the rub. Technically, you should be on all of them as far as go to all of them and get your handle. So nobody can snatch up your handle.
That's true.
Now, as far as what you're actually posting on, focus on 1 to 2. I like Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, if we count YouTube as social media. So that's my 3. I don't mess around with Pinterest because I don't understand it.
I am actually on all of the platforms. I have YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, and I do regularly post on many of them. Pinterest falls a little bit to the wayside, not because my market's not there, but just because posting to it and seeing results can be a little bit more complicated. But when I do see results on my website, they come from Pinterest.
We'll have to get into this at a separate time.
We can.
Not in this video. I just don't get it. When I say I don't get it. But I also, when I started Instagram, and I'm probably the only person under 30 who didn't know how Instagram worked. I couldn't tell you the difference between a story and a reel and what it was for and why versus a post.
You're not the only one,
but I get it now. I feel better about it.
I do a lot of deep diving into the platforms that I use, which is why I utilize so many of them, and a lot of them are connected to each other, so it is less work for me.
Well, I try.
It sounds like a lot, but it's not a lot of work.
Well, and when you get started, you can use something like Canva. That's a good platform to be on. Mm-hmm. And if you pay for Canva, it actually gives you free scheduling ability for social media across, all the major platforms, more or less. I don't know if it goes to TikTok, but it'll go to, your Facebook. I think it goes to Pinterest.
I believe Canva does. I'm going to actually check, literally on this video right now.
Yeah, you check it and I'll spiel. If you are trying to post on all the things, you can use something like Canva to design your marketing, and you can pretty much make it the same for all the platforms, and then just schedule out, reformat it, because like the rules for, you know, TikTok is like vertical, but then like the rules for like posts, like regular picture posts, are usually square. So like there's some reformatting you could do in Canva, but you can more or less design one thing and then post it across all the places. And while that might feel excessive to you, the audience you have on TikTok might not be the same audience you have on, you know, Instagram. So it's not going to be
They're like duplicated competing platforms
for them.
So no, TikTok is not on Canva, but you can create TikTok videos. It's just like you create reels.
How many? We're not sponsored by Canva, but we both strongly recommend you get Canva. $12.95 a month, at least when I signed up. I think it still is. That's going to be like the best, like $13 a month you'll ever spend for your business.
And I do business tutorials that feature Canva a lot on the Whatnot app under my name because I love it so much.
Yeah, Canva, money well spent.
So channels you can integrate to.
Yes, you can integrate to Instagram business, a Facebook page, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn profile, LinkedIn page. I don't know the difference. Slack, whatever that is, and Tumblr.
Slack is like a Discord thing.
Oh, yeah, see, I don't know the difference. Social media, schedule it out. You can make a bunch ahead of time on Canva and then schedule it across all platforms. And we went over the platforms. What's next? What we should talk about?
Other things you can talk about are QuickBooks, using that for balancing your expenses.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with QuickBooks, it can integrate like with your bank. So if you don't have like a specific separate like business bank account and you're using your personal, you can set it up to move like certain transactions into like a business category. And at the end of the year, because that's been happening like the whole time as you're making transactions, it'll separate it all out for you. Now, do you need an accounting app platform? No. Sure don't. I still do all my stuff by hand, including filing my own taxes. But I know you want to talk about your CPA.
I don't use QuickBooks, so I have used it in the past. I find it a very convenient app. So if it's not something that you want to go through and like categorize everything, I can understand that. I work with a CPA that's local to me, and he helps me out. So I do have a separate bank account specifically for my business, and I go through each month and I categorize what each cost was for, whether it was marketing, supplies, website, things like that. And then those are all sectioned into separate areas. I have to find out what was quarterly tax and things like that. And then I do my own quarterly taxes, but then he files the ending information for me and helps me out with kind of gearing towards the next year, which does save me a lot. It's probably the only part of my business that I outsource if I'm thinking about it. And it's been a lifesaver. He does our personal as well, so it helps there as well.
Yeah, I have not worked with an accountant, and a CPA is an accountant if you guys are unfamiliar. And I just wanted to expand on some things. So we live in Florida. So the quarterly taxes she's talking about is quarterly sales tax that we have to pay for like having a business in the state of Florida. And then like the end of the year taxes she's talking about is like the federal filing taxes.
Yeah.
So that's two different levels. You know, one state level, one's federal. That might not be true for you where you live. I know in Florida we don't file state taxes at the end of the year, but we still do have to, as like a person, but we still do have to do the like quarterly sales tax. You're just going to want to look into tax laws. And if you're selling anything, you have a business. There is no such thing as a hobby business. When they talk about you need $600 to be making $600, that is for 1099s. That is not like the threshold to where you become a business. If you're selling anything, you have a business.
You have to collect sales tax. You're supposed to report quarterly. Yeah, you could look at to see what the cost was and what you will get in trouble for. Our goal, if you're here and you're trying to like run your business, our goal is not to tell you how you can get around the laws, but how you can work with the laws to actually have a legal business.
As somebody who's been late on filing my sales tax, it is a $50 fee added to your next quarter's taxes.
Technically it's more than that. It's a $50 start fee, and I think it's $10 for every day previously, but they don't hold you to that.
Oh, well then that's nice, because
so
I would $50.
You know, I'd look into that.
Try to set reminders.
It's very easy to file once you start filing, but like most of us have been late at some point in time, and
we're both late right now. If full disclosure, we're both late right now.
That's true. You can call them and talk through if you need help with actually filing. There are also videos up on YouTube so that you can learn how to file your own taxes. I would confirm that information's right, and then they have a little sheet a worksheet that allows you to see where you need to plug in your own information. It does require a little math on your part. A calculator is an amazing asset. I don't care what they told you in school, use it.
The Florida Department of Revenue, I know, because I've talked to them, they understand that like the layperson, you know, doesn't speak the language, and they're helpful. So I imagine most like government entities like that know that like the average person doesn't know anything about anything because they don't teach this stuff in school. So if you have questions, just call and ask, and yeah, go from there pretty much. But pay your taxes. And QuickBooks is good. I've used it before, but it is something that I personally allot time for at the end of every month now. I figure out all the money I've spent for various subscriptions to things like Canva. I also have a YouTube subscription, BizClips, that's for making shorts, vidIQ, that's for YouTube. So I have a whole bunch of subscriptions that are like business related. Buy a lot of materials for my business. So I literally like comb through everything, write it all down, kind of categorize it, and then subtract what I made. Or subtract it from what I made.
You can also create your own worksheets that allow you for monthly. So you create 12 of them, line them, and then have them with category, what it says on your bank statement, then the category you're putting it in, and how much you actually spent. And then you just do that math at the end for the total for each month. And then you could have a separate worksheet that has the total of each month leading into the total of the year. It just breaks down the math, makes it a lot easier for you or your CPA, depending on who's doing it.
Yeah, Excel would be great for making like a worksheet like that to like math it out for you. If you want to just organize it but do it manually still, Canva
you can make
has a lot of good templates like that. It's not going to math it for you. And while we're recommending this stuff, it's important to note we don't get paid for recommending it. These are things that we've just used in our own business that we've liked, even if we're not using them now. We both had good experiences, I think, with QuickBooks. Yeah. Otherwise, we wouldn't recommend it. And I will say, if you file with TurboTax integrates with QuickBooks. So at the end of the year, if you are filing your own taxes and you did your own accounting with QuickBooks, that'll just like pop right into TurboTax, and it's like a breeze. You can literally file business taxes in like 15 minutes, which is saying something because your personal might take 15, but your business usually takes a lot longer.
Yeah. The biggest thing is if you're using an online server for taxes and things like that is you yourself need to keep updated when it comes to tax law. So, like, there's this give and take. So, like, yeah, some things make other things easier, but they can also, they also have other things planted into them. Using a CPA or working with a CPA allows them to give me the information rather than me having to search out the information.
That's true. I will say, though, for TurboTax, they have pop-ups that kind of explain everything, and when there's like new laws and stuff that apply, they'll have like information about that. And they really, this sounds offensive, but they really dumb it down for you. They'll ask you if you had like a baby that year, or if you like bought a house that year. They'll like ask you like, do you work at home? Do you have like a home office? How big is your home office? Because there's like tax credits related to that. So yeah, they really make it easy. And you could pay a little extra if you want to go through your taxes with an actual tax professional too.
Yeah. And I mean, it doesn't cost like a crazy amount. It's honestly
really not.
It's
and
not
you
much
can pay
different
them
than
out of your
using
taxes too, so that's always nice. Yeah. So you don't actually really have to have money up front to do it. I don't know if that applies to every single case, but I know I usually have them take the fee just out of my return.
Yeah, and in my area, using the CPA does not cost me more than what I would use at like Hewitt or at TurboTax. It's not more money really.
Oh, I will say,
it's not
specific to businesses. Make sure, though, if you're going the CPA route, you look for some agency, whatever, that's well-versed in, like, small businesses in particular.
Yes.
Because there is, like, a difference. I don't know all of the differences, but I just know you're going to be better off.
It's going to come down to knowledge. Do they know what it takes? And also it's going to be the difference between standing in front of somebody and them telling you that your business shouldn't exist because they're used to large corporations that are bringing in hundreds of thousands versus somebody who understands that you're a growing business and that they start pretty small, honestly.
Yeah, they do start small. And if you get somebody who knows small businesses, they're going to look for like all the tax breaks that apply to small businesses, and you want a tax break. Why pay more when you don't have to?
A lot of times you're going to break even, and sometimes you might even be making the money back, and that's kind of important to know. As a growing business, you're going to end up spending a lot more money than you're going to be making.
Starting out, for sure, it's real hard when you first get going to like turn a profit, especially if you're doing something like what you do, having to buy equipment up front. Obviously, you wouldn't buy everything up front, but I gotta assume to get started, you at least need semi like expensive things, more or less.
Yeah, even if it's the smaller things that are kind of expensive, pliers aren't necessarily
good
cheap.
Materials too.
Yeah. And it's a building process, so my business has been going on 14 years, so I've had time to build it up, and it has not always been what it is now.
Yeah. With my business, I literally started with yarn and like Amazon crochet hooks. Now I'm using crochet hooks that cost like, the pack itself is like $40. So it's like a couple of dollars a hook instead of being like a couple of dollars for all of the hooks. But a year into my business is when I bought the Cricut to do my felt eyes. Like a year and a half into the business is when I bought the like nice camera for doing YouTube videos. I previously recorded on my phone for like an entire year and monetized when I was still just recording on my phone with like a clip-on mic. So you definitely don't need like the most fancy stuff starting out, but you do need some stuff. Like if you don't have a camera, gonna be hard for you to make social media content.
Well, even a camera phone works.
Well,
honestly.
A camera phone.
It's functional. Yeah.
You have a camera if you have a camera phone.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, if you're rocking like a Nokia, might need to upgrade.
I mean, I don't know if that many people are rocking the Nokia, but point definitely made right there. You don't need the fanciest equipment, but you do need equipment. You need something. You don't have to get a separate phone for your business. You can use your personal phone. Just make note that what you're using it for, how much storage it's using up, and how much this is going to put onto yours. I definitely I was surprised to learn this. I look for the highest storage when I buy a new phone because I run a lot of my business through my phone, and that's something actually we differ about. Jacki does not run her business through her phone pretty much at all.
I hate it so hard.
I run 90% of my business through my phone. Anything that I'm not like actually making, like it goes on the phone. And so when I had to replace my phone, unfortunately recently, my children decided to bang it on the floor. I had to tell the guy that, hey, I need the highest storage, and he didn't like not believe me, but he did go looking through my phone to see what storage I had now so that we could get a comparable phone and have to go back into the lock safe because I have the highest amount of storage because I use it, and I'm almost actually empty. Like I've almost used it all.
Yeah,
I've had that phone a month.
I don't have the highest storage on my phone, and I don't do a lot in my phone, but I'll tell you what, that base storage is not a lot because before I got my fancy camera, I got to the point where I had like 12 minutes left of video recording space on the whole thing with everything I could possibly delete. And I'm like, 12 minutes, that's going to cut down into a 2-minute YouTube video. That is at 0 time. So then I had to get a camera, and I got a 2 terabyte memory card, which is like 40 hours on just that memory card alone. And believe you me, I've got a couple. But I got like upgraded. My laptop just broke recently, so I did have to do work off my phone for like
similar children-related
disasters.
days.
Yeah. I almost had a freaking coronary without a laptop because that's how I lived my whole life. But I got upgraded storage on that too because I ran up all the storage already on my only 1-year-old laptop. In 1 year, I filled it all the way up, planning on having my business more than a year. So.
Well, and it's something that needs to be note of too, is that things happen beyond your control. In my case, one of my children was playing with my phone. I didn't think what they were doing was damaging, but what they did indeed damage it, and it was right before a show. I run a lot of transactions straight through my phone using one of my apps. And so I had to go replace that phone because it was literally the day before. I didn't have time to wait for a replacement to come in. Yeah. For Jacki, her businesses ran through her laptop. She needed that laptop, and she had custom orders coming through. She literally needed that in place. So either have a backup plan in place to be prepared that something's going to go wrong. Like, I hate to say that, but like there's likelihood something's going to go wrong.
It will.
You can have tablets, you can have desktops, something accessible, even if you don't use it all the time.
And
I have multiple devices.
If you can't afford a whole separate device, get you an external hard drive and actually be proactive about putting your stuff on it.
Something we both have, our external hard drives.
And I have one, but I don't use it that much because it's an extra step because I record on my camera, but then I have to put it on my computer just to put it on the external hard drive.
I have one too. It's sitting up here somewhere.
I just usually leave out putting it on the computer and then like edit and upload from there. I miss the step of actually putting it onto the external hard drive because then I have to like move it back to the computer later.
The external hard drive for me is when I need to replace something. I just move all the information over to that in case I ever need it.
Well, actually, put anything that you deem as important that like if you're stuff got broken tomorrow, you'd be upset to lose, put that on there and actually hold yourself accountable to that, because I lost both unedited and edited videos that I had yet to upload to the YouTube. And some of them I can remake, but technically I guess I could remake them all, but that's so many hours, so I'm only going to remake the like talking head style videos and not the full crochet with me's, because there's a lot of work that goes into that.
Yeah.
A lot of work. So I'm still getting lines on my face because of the whole debacle.
I mean, it's relatively new for you, and
I'm only a few weeks out.
Yeah. Even though mine was a thing, the phone that I had was not inaccessible. It just was not working on a regular basis. So it's also
was
here.
Only like 3 weeks before mine too.
Yeah, and it's literally sitting over here on a desk, and it's now used for live videos and occasional things like that, and
That's
sometimes
at least
pictures.
Nice that you could still kind of use yours.
Yeah, it's still functional. It does not function as a phone.
Yeah, mine is completely and totally not functional as a computer.
We
thought it was going to be, because we were able to get to my login screen. And if any of you guys know anything about technology, leave some type of comment. I don't know what platform you're watching this on, but why would my login screen be there, but then when I logged in using an external monitor, would it just be like more or less factory reset and nothing there? Because I feel like if you factory reset the whole thing would reset. But also, I just think there's some type of like glitch in it, because even if it was factory reset or hidden, the like log out and like restart and shut down should all work still, and they did not work.
Well, the log in and log out wouldn't necessarily work, but it should have like restarted you from the beginning. You would have had like a start screen, not a...
Yeah, well, once I got into the computer and I had like that, like a home screen background, no files, nothing, I tried to like go over to the Apple and like restart, because I thought like maybe it just didn't go in all the way. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to see if I restarted it, if I was going to still have my login screen that said my name. But like that button like didn't work. I like clicked it, nothing happened.
Yeah.
And then I tried like shut down, clicked it, nothing happened. And then I tried like logging out, clicked it, nothing happened. Also went down to Safari, clicked it, nothing happened. So I don't know.
That might be hard for people to give you information about without knowing that it was snapped in half.
Oh yeah.
So like it's not like it was like functionally like it just shut down with a glitch or a bug. No, it was snapped in half.
Yeah, have children, they said. It'll be fun, they said.
Another point before we end the video, it might be worth going off of, is the bank account wise. There's the option of a business bank account or a personal bank account. I mean, I've learned some mixed feelings about them, honestly. A lot of people recommend a business bank account. I recommend having separate bank accounts, though I know that that's not like the most common thing for everybody. Separate bank accounts help you to separate your financials in case you are ever audited. A lot easier than having a combined personal and business bank account. It's also very highly recommended to have separate accounts.
If you don't want to pay money for like a grown-up full-on separate business bank account, there's options that are relatively free or like small fees associated, like Chime or PayPal, both of which you can get debit cards for. So if you have money in those accounts, you can spend out of them with like an actual debit card that's going to be accepted at like 99.9% of places.
A personal
so that's
bank
like a
account.
Good way to like separate it.
You can do a personal bank account that's separate from your actual personal bank
Well,
account.
I know a lot of regular bank accounts that are like through actual banking institutions. If you're not direct depositing a certain amount of money, there is like a fee associated each month.
Back on businesses, whether it's a personal bank account or whether or not it is a business bank account, whatever works for you, separating your purchases is the most important part. Preferably you want an account separate for your business in whichever category functions for you, but if you're using a personal account, just keep in mind that if you're audited, you need to have clear records of where that money is, where it's going, and how it's working.
Yeah, and that's kind of easier than you think it would be, because I do a lot of my like business purchases through like Amazon. So shopping online, there's going to be, if you have accounts with like where you're shopping from, like I do with Premier Yarns, Amazon, all the things, there's going to be a clear record of what you bought and when.
Yeah.
And then just if you're shopping in person, save a receipt. That's the biggest thing. Just get in the habit of saving your receipts.
Well, if you save a receipt, make sure you photocopy it or take a photo of it and print it out on a piece of paper, because receipts fade.
That is true. That's a good point. Another thing we wanted to mention, separate from like different platforms that you can be on that will help your business, is using different shipping providers and what resources they offer. So I've heard from time to time, some of them you can get free label printers and paper, but I do know, because I use them, USPS, United States Postal Service, if you're in the United States, they will give you free boxes. You can like order them on their website for free. And I use those to ship out all of my like custom orders and things because it saves me the expense of having to buy boxes. And you'll be surprised at how much boxes can cost you, especially once your business gets going, if you're shipping things out, you know, weekly. So use those if you have access to them.
Yeah, and maybe on a related note, if you do choose to buy the things like a label printer and everything, you don't have to go with the most expensive option. Likely that option does not work very well anyways. I have one of my own more expensive options that doesn't work very well. And if you're buying your labels, you can use your regular printer for them. You do not need a label printer. You can buy them in bulk.
Yeah.
You can buy them in large bulk. So you'd rather buy them that way, trust me on this, than buying them from, say, Walmart.
Yeah, I've never actually, I know a lot of people have label printers for shipping things. I've never even actually used a label printer. Literally just print my labels for my boxes out on normal paper, sometimes sticky paper, and then I like cut them and tape them to my box or stick them to my box if I've used sticky paper.
I have sticky label printer that I use in print, and it's actually the perfect size for my poly millers, which are on brand for me. My label printer just does not work.
That, in the meantime, is going to be it for this episode. Stay tuned for our next episode where we're going to be talking about the platform to host your business, whether you're doing it online or in person at markets kind of vibes. But yes, thank you.
All right, have a great day. See you next time.
And goodbye.
Platform is the word you were looking for?
Platform. Yeah, I think that was. Son of a bitch. Welcome back to my brain where it doesn't work. Not when I need it to.
Oh man.
I don't mess around with Pinterest because I don't understand it. All the pictures are too tiny. I don't understand how people like it for like inspo because I can't fucking see anything.
They do get bigger if you click on them.
Yeah, well I can't even, I'm just like I can't. It's too many things and it's all too tiny.
I mean, I like listening to Reddit stories when they come up, but I do try to stop because they blow up your algorithm.
Am I the a-hole?
Am I the a-hole? Absolutely.
A lot of the times you are. If you've got to ask, you probably are. Like,
literally.
What do you mean you got mad at your pregnant wife for having an attitude? What the
It's a very vague statement.
Straight up. But some of them are that bad.
They are. That's true.
Like my wife, she's pregnant, but she came home and ate dinner and just went to bed, and then she like got mad when I woke her up. Like,
I'd be mad too.
Yeah, get off her.
It's exhausting.
Your deed is done. She'll see you in 9 months. Or
before,
if she wants to see you before,
you need to edit this out.
Yeah, I will.
This is blooper territory.
I will, but all of them, they're adorable. Yes, but why is it crooked?
I don't know, because you made it crooked.
Better? No.
No,
Sure.
it's still not.